What's going on, everybody? It's Animac here from Anime Uproar, and welcome to a brand new episode of the One Piece Virgin Podcast. I believe this is episode 21, and we are already at chapter 441. We are approaching the halfway mark, and it's pretty insane, guys. Thank you so much for being on this journey with us, and of course, if you do like the podcast, share it with your friends, share it with everyone. Let's do this. Joining me today, Knox and Briggs.
Knox and Briggs!
Yeah, Knox and Briggs, yeah. Those guys, yeah.
And we also have Animac.
And back, again, finally, we missed this boy. We missed this boy a lot. Our boy Noble from Lost Paws.
Noble and Noble!
He's often confused with Kirito due to his legendary video where he said the legendary phrase, "I am Kirito." And since that time...
I've forever been Kirito, yes, from that very moment.
Yeah, not just Kirito, but fucking Kirito.
That's right.
Bro.
It says so right there in this power bar. Power stats.
Anywho,
okay,
next week we are doing the first half of Thriller Bark, which is chapters 442, and we're going to go until 469. Nice.
But, guys, I don't need, before I get into this stuff, just quick heads up. Thank you to all of our patrons. They're growing every day. Thank you guys so much for the Rank Cafe patrons. And you can now, if you're a patron, you can access the brand new sneak preview of Brigo and Chad Lass from the web novel. It's up there right now on Image we commissioned. And you will also be able to find the new chapter there later today. I'm just finishing it up, and then I will be posting it there for you guys. Chapter 7. It's called The Catgirl Dilemma. So look out for that. Now, these 11 chapters, guys. Honestly, when you said, Nux, let's just do 11, I was like, that's weird for a whole week. But, bro, these were the best 11 chapters in the whole series so far. It was amazing. Let me tell you
something, Animac. As amazing as every arc is, and every arc is great. Some are better, some are worse, some are God tier. The small little in-between arcs where you see how Zawardo is doing and how Luffy's actions may have affected the entire playing field on the planet. It's those between arc chapters that are always beautiful in One Piece, because that just goes to show how fantastic the world building is. It's like, dude, I want to see info dumps, man.
We had such great world building. We had so many things revealed about Luffy's family. We had Frankie joining the crew. We had new ship for the crew. We had Ace versus Blackbeard. Wow, man. Wow.
Yeah. It's just 11 chapters. And I remember you were like, all right, well, really, only 11 chapters. But this might end up being the longest episode of the One Piece Virgin.
Yeah, I mean, this was honestly great. I think this is the point where I really see why One Piece is considered one of the best. Oh, man. Just after those epic emotional arcs, we get this little 11 chapter, summary of everything and aftermath. And yet so much is set up. So much is hinted at. Oh, it's great. It's freaking great, man. We have politics. We have war. We have everything. Everything. Is the next chapter a time skip? Because I felt like it's setting up a time skip.
If only.
I mean, should I tell you?
I know, right? He doesn't know.
I'm gonna say no.
He doesn't know.
If there was a time skip after this last chapter with the whole recaps of what everyone else is doing. And how they hear about the Straw Hats, I would totally not be surprised.
No, but the beauty is they do this between every major arc. It's one of the go-to styles of One Piece, just to show how the actions of the crew affect the world. And that's why when a lot of people complain that Luffy's character doesn't per se develop all that much, even though his character does in many ways, over a 900 chapter story. I wouldn't say that every 5 chapters he's an evolved person. And that's because it's these interim chapters that really show that the main purpose of the development in One Piece isn't how the world changes Luffy as much as it's how Luffy is changing the world. And I love that aspect of One Piece. But anywho, it starts off strong.
Yeah, so first we have just like a little aftermath. Everyone returns to Water 7, and they're trying to rebuild it. The Galilok company vows to rebuild the city after the Aqua Laguna devastated it. We have Frankie revealing that he used the 200 million that he stole from the Straw Hats to buy this incredibly rare wood that is thought to be indestructible, the same kind of wood that was used to build the Oro Jackson, Goldie Rogers' ship. And then he reveals that he will use this wood to build the new ship for the Straw Hats. But before that gets done, we have the introduction of a young man called Monkey D. Garp.
The Fist! The Fist!
The best boy. Best boy in the Navy.
Fist, baby.
This guy's revealed to be a vice admiral in the Navy and Luffy's grandfather. And it is also
Which
revealed...
really comes out of nowhere. Like, they weren't, like, prepping anyone for this.
Yeah.
A Marine comes in. Everyone's freaking out. You know, he starts beating the crap out of Luffy.
Yeah, he punches Luffy awake, and normally a punch wouldn't do any damage to Luffy, but Luffy gets a big lump on his head for comedic effect, but also showing that Garp is able to damage Luffy despite him being rubber, which is important.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good point.
Right there. Yes, that's a great point. But their conversations also, they're so funny. It's
Wait
like
a minute.
Luffy's like, Garp, Grandpa, you've tried to kill me so many times. And he's like, tried to kill you? No, I mean, I did push you over bottomless cliffs, threw you into the jungle, sent you on a balloon flying into the sky, but that was so you could become a strong man. And Luffy's like, and the crew's just like freaking out, like, wait, what?
And he started it off by saying, don't make me look bad, and then said all the bad things he did.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I
then,
actually...
he grabs Luffy by the collar. It's like, you punk. He like grabs him, and Luffy's just like screaming like, I'm so sorry. Like not even fighting back. And Chopper's just like, oh my God, the Marines captured Luffy.
Yeah, and I mean, I thought it was great because that little bit about him training Luffy by being super strict towards him as a kid helps you understand why Luffy is so strong now. So I liked that because we had Luffy as a kid, then we had that whole time skip, and then Luffy's the protagonist, and he's already pretty strong and a good fighter and all this type of stuff. He knows how to use his devil fruit. So I like that they went back a bit and introduced that he was actually trained by this really strict dude. So that's why he's so strong already when we meet him or when he's older.
Not the only one trained by that really strict dude.
Yeah, so was Ace. And by the way, Ace's introduction was really random as well. Like when we're like, oh, by the way, I'm Luffy's brother. It's like, what? But so he trained.
That's how it meant. He trained the legendary duo of our dreams, the Aizen of One Piece, Helmeppo and Kobe.
Oh yeah, that too. But first,
Yeah.
I just want to say that it was funny because he's like, I trained Ace and Luffy to be Marines, powerful Marines, and they're both freaking world famous pirates.
Yeah.
So that was good.
It just shows that strict upbringing doesn't actually work all the time. They rebel. Yeah.
And he ruled with an iron fist.
Huh.
Hey.
But I also wanted to say, because you brought up the good point that Garp does hurt Luffy with his fist, but Nami also does hurt Luffy with his fist or her fist.
True.
I guess they both have the fists of love.
Yes. So gotta remember this. Gotta remember. That's important, by the way. Obviously.
Clearly.
And yeah,
Nami's...
I can't believe we got to see Kobe and Helmeppo beginning their process to becoming Chads, bro. That was a really funny and interesting surprise, I have to say.
And Zoro didn't recognize Helmeppo. And Helmeppo's like, what do you mean? I had you almost die, and like we almost murdered you and like executed you. You were nailed to a post. And he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you know, I was using my dad's power. He's like, oh yeah, that guy.
Yo, how long's it been since like those first few episodes with Kobe and Helmeppo?
I'm
probably months.
A few months. Like Kobe glowed up. Like
yeah, like that.
Looked like he it was like 7 years ago.
Exactly. Yeah, it feels now like it's been years, but I don't know how many.
Well, years in real time because
exactly.
Chapters.
No, but I think it's a few months. It's probably a few months.
I mean, that's a lot of adventures for just a few months. Like, I have no idea how canonically time really works there, but yeah, it's been a long time since we were back there.
Yeah, I'd say like maybe like 4 or 5 months would be my guess. Obviously, like he got more physically fit. How do we know how old Kobe is roughly? If Technique was here, he would know. But he's probably just at the age where he got that growth spurt. I think he's a similar age.
Does it
to
matter?
Luffy, actually.
Age. Jotaro is fucking 17 years old.
Yeah,
exactly.
So
That's
like it
exactly
doesn't
right.
really
Bro,
matter.
Giorno was like 15,
So
dog.
Kobe was 16 when he was introduced, and he's still 16.
Okay, well, 16's that age, makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't make sense, but it doesn't matter because it was pretty hilarious. I told you guys, remember when we first met Helmeppo, I was like, this guy's going to be important later. He's going to become the protagonist. And I'm telling you, I knew it.
Were you about to say, and you guys were telling me no? You were about to say that.
Yeah, I don't know what you were telling me, but
We weren't telling you anything. I mean, I've read this before, kind of thing.
I guess.
All right, what else does Garp introduce? He mentions Shanks, of course. And people are surprised about that, but he doesn't mention something. Go ahead.
He says to Luffy, it's like, God damn it, I wanted you to become a Marine and you became a pirate due to the influence of that douchey red-haired bastard. And Luffy's like, wow, man, don't talk about Shanks like that.
He said,
yeah, so he talks about Shanks. We get some reveals about Shanks. So apparently Shanks is one of the 4 emperors who are the world's strongest pirates, and they control the second half of the Grand Line. And basically the Navy and the warlords are fighting against these emperors. And it is also revealed later on that Shanks, you know how Shanks, I believe it was revealed before that Shanks served on the same ship as Buggy, but I don't think it was revealed whose ship that was, right?
Was it?
I don't remember if it was.
I don't think it was, because when I read that they actually served on Goldie Rogers' ship, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, Buggy's big stuff.
Yeah, so I don't think we knew it was Yoro Jackson back when we first learned that Buggy served with Shanks. But yeah, that's crazy. I have more respect for Buggy now. You guys know that I haven't really been super Buggy. But
I have nothing but respect for Buggy, I have to say. But that said, it goes to show that, I mean, the previous Pirate King was Gold Roger, right? And like one of his subordinates was Shanks, who's now an emperor. Like, it goes to show how the generation crafted who's in power. But even before getting into Shanks, Garp's like picking his nose. He's like nailing a nail into the wall. And he's like, oh, by the way, your father's name, Monkey D. Dragon, the revolutionary guy. That dude, I thought he met you at Logtown. Maybe he didn't say hi. And then the entire Marines that are there, they're all like, wait, what? What? You mean Dragon, the most wanted man in the world? What? He's your dad? He's your son? What? And then Garp's like, maybe I shouldn't have said anything.
Just forget it.
So Garp is the grandfather on the father's side, yes?
I believe. I don't know. Is Garp Dragon's dad?
I don't know, because like the relationship is not like biologically. I think Luffy's or Ace's.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's
yes.
weird.
Everyone's saying yes.
Luffy's father is Dragon, and Dragon's father is Garp.
Okay. Yeah, so that was the other thing. So first we get some stuff about Shanks and the whole fact that he's now an emperor and that he served on Goldie Rogers' ship. And then we get as you said, like completely out of nowhere introduction of Luffy's father, who it turns out he's the guy with the tribal tattoos on his face back in Logtown, the guy that
stopped Smoker.
Yeah, I thought maybe controlled lightning in order to help Luffy, but then people were like, we don't know if that actually had anything to do with him. But he's basically the leader of a revolutionary army, a force that is fighting the world government, and he is considered to be the world's greatest criminal. So I thought that was pretty insane.
Yeah, because it's also introducing a whole new level of depth to the One Piece world. Like, you have these emperors, they're these pirate monarchs that they're all so powerful, and if the balance of power,
Navy themselves can't take them down. That's pretty impressive, honestly.
You mean the emperors?
Yeah, the emperors. That's what I said, right? That's what you said.
Right. The Navy themselves, the Navy and the world government and the warlords together, they have a force that they're not comfortable taking on an emperor, let's say. Especially because once the balance of power tips and a war like that happens, the other emperors can just jump in easily and demolish both sides that are weakened. Yeah. Like, they're in this crazy stalemate. because of how many different perspectives and powerful forces there are. And right after the emperors are introduced, by the way, world's most wanted man, this random non-emperor dude. Yeah, he's this guy. He's a revolutionary army. Maybe it's important or something. It's like coming out of nowhere. And it's beautiful.
Because most pirates aren't directly attacking, like, the emperors aren't directly trying to take out the world government, but Dragon is, because he's a revolutionary, so he's a direct, in direct opposition to the world government. The world government tries to get rid of pirates, obviously, and maintain balance and order and all that, but the revolutionaries are a whole different beast.
Yeah, so no one really, like, they want him dead mostly because he's the most wanted, because he poses the biggest threat to the government, but we don't really know how strong Dragon truly is because he's just in opposition, so obviously the government makes him the most wanted, while the warlords are kind of just doing their own thing.
The emperors.
Emperors.
Quick thing about the emperors.
Also, another important thing about, like, different people being wanted or whatever, like, the truth of the matter is the whole bounty system is a clout-based system, not a power-based system.
Yeah.
We did get bounties in
we've
this
been
arc
over
as well.
this.
We'll go over that in a second. But I want to say something to Animac real quick. You know how you always like, bro, what's a Yonko? What's a Yonko? Different translation,
There we
but
go.
the emperors are Yonkos.
Okay, so the emperors are the Yonkos.
Yeah, it's the 4 Yonko.
Not the
or
warlords,
four
but the
emperors.
emperors. Okay,
Yes.
yeah. Cool.
The warlords are the Shishibukai, the emperors are the Yonkos, and we were just introduced to actually 2 of the emperors.
Yes.
This,
Shanks and
Yes.
Whitebeard had that little meeting.
and then they meet. Oh,
Okay,
my-
so Whitebeard is an emperor.
my
He's
God.
not a warlord.
Correct.
Yes,
we
the
met
emperor.
some of the warlords.
Yes,
like,
yeah, we did.
Crocodile's a warlord, you know?
Yeah, so there was a big
Mihawk.
thing that happened.
Mihawk's a warlord.
Shanks was able to break through a government area in order to make direct contact with Whitebeard.
Who has one of the greatest beards of all time.
Yeah, that's
This-
great beard.
This man is such a Chad. He can call his mustache a beard and no one will say a thing. to
I
him.
know, it's just a mustache. It's just-
Well, that's a translation thing, you know. Higa just
know,
means hair. So like, sure, Higa just it can be his mustache too.
yeah, but it's just it's based on, like, I'm guessing Blackbeard, the actual pirate, and then having a white beard.
Yeah.
But he just has a mustache. But yeah, so basically Shanks comes onto his ship and, like, all these people are just, like, passing out at the very fact that Shanks is coming there, and that's where we get the idea of Haki, some sort of mysterious power that Shanks has that basically if you're not strong, you'll just pass out as a result of it. So I thought I was pretty insane. Like, that's a pretty crazy entrance.
Like two of Whitebeard's commanders. One says to the other, like, everyone's passing out, and he's like, "Well, you need so much determination to even stay conscious in the presence of this man." And then Shanks, who comes up to, like, Whitebeard's knee. Like, that's how tall he is. This tiny guy compared to half of his crew, lugging this massive bottle of sake, and he's like, "Yo, what up, dude?"
Sake and hockey, bro.
Sake and hockey.
Yeah.
But, okay, so I was gonna ask about that. Like, is Whitebeard like a giant or a half giant or something? Because that man is huge compared to Shanks.
So there are many different, like, races in One Piece. I don't think he's not classified as a giant. Like, the giants are way bigger than him.
Yeah.
I think he's just a big boy.
I think he's just a big guy.
He's just
I
a
don't know.
big
Maybe
guy. Yeah.
maybe his father just was such a Chad that he banged the giant lady.
I was
There
thinking
we
maybe
go.
a few generations back he had some giant in his blood.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but we also got a good look at Whitebeard's health too.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, even though he's considered, like, you know, the strongest man kind of thing, like, he's a terrifying force, but, like, he has oxygen tubes in his nose.
Yeah, so we did see that before because we got that little tease before with him sitting there like a boss with, like, the tubes and then, like, a bunch of sexy nurses all around him.
Oh, that's
So-
why you remember.
Yeah, so we do have. Yeah, I do remember the nurses. So we do have an indication that even though he's this crazy badass, he is also old and has health issues. And then part of the thing, the reason why the sake was brought to him by Shanks is that it's apparently medicinal.
Yeah, and also Whitebeard had another pretty cool line. He said, when he sees Shanks, he says, "The wound I got from that guy aches whenever I look at your face." Like they have history.
Yes. Yeah, we got introduced to like a previous generation here because like obviously Shanks is like a part of like a newer generation than Whitebeard. Whitebeard was fighting against Gold Roger, and Shanks was just an apprentice at the time. And Garp used to fight against Goldie Roger as well. So like that's the previous generation.
Garp, Whitebeard, and Roger were three like incredibly powerful forces in that time.
And I guess the main reason why Shanks ended up going to the ship was to ask Whitebeard to call off Ace's hunt for Blackbeard. And Shanks seems genuinely worried about Blackbeard and his goals, and he's worried for Ace because Ace is such a stan for Whitebeard that he just like wants to do anything for the Whitebeard pirates, and he wants Whitebeard to become the Pirate King and all that stuff. But for some reason, Shanks seemed very concerned about Blackbeard, and then later on, at the last 2 chapters, we see that Blackbeard has some crazy dangerous power.
Yeah. And Blackbeard's the one who gave Shanks his scar on his eye, I'm pretty sure, right? And that's why that's the one wound that still aches. He said, though, like, his arm wound doesn't ache, because he bet that on the new generation. But the one on his eye, I'm pretty sure Teach gave him that, which is why...
Really?
Sorry,
Really?
I didn't remember that.
Yeah,
Was it Teach or Whitebeard that gave him that?
I'm pretty sure it was Blackbeard. And that's why he's calling off Ace. So what happened was Blackbeard, we found this out in the fight, right? That Blackbeard, like the reason why Ace is hunting down Blackbeard.
Yeah.
Yes, because Blackbeard killed a fellow crew member of the Whitebeard pirates in order to steal his devil fruit.
So yeah, as like the Division Commander, it's his job to go and get revenge for his crew and for Whitebeard and all that. And Shanks is pretty much saying, call it off. He isn't ready.
Yeah, but Whitebeard was like, "Yo, you're not gonna tell me how to lead my crew, bruh.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do what I want. I'm the OG here." And then
I just love this meeting because this is 2 of the world powers coming together. Like
And
obvious.
It's also your new, like, you can see Shanks again, one of the most mysterious characters in One Piece.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Like, just his presence alone, which is what motivated Luffy to go on his own adventure. And you want to know all about this character, and all you get is a freaking tease for like 10 little chapters.
It's not even a tease. It's not even a tease. He doesn't say anything about himself. You don't know why he cares about Ace or why he cares that Whitebeard is going to lose a man. Like, what is this? What stake does he have in this fight?
Yeah, we know he likes Luffy.
Make
Obviously,
his way all the way here to do this.
Yeah, so we know he likes Luffy. He has a relationship with him, and Ace is Luffy's brother, but that's all we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great, really epic meeting of 2 important forces, and a lot of world building was done there too, because it was clear that the world government was very worried about the fact that these 2 guys were meeting.
Well, for
again, because they're always scared about that constant shift in like balance. Because if 2 Yonkos were to team up, they would be able to take on other Yonkos or even potentially the world government.
Then we also had the new bounties.
We quickly scoot back over to Water 7. They chat about the upcoming arcs. Like, they say they want to get to Fishman Island, where Sanji's excited because of mermaids. And then they're like, oh, there's this haunted ship where hundreds of ships have sunk, and like it's like the Bermuda Triangle of One Piece, and there's like, you know, monsters and stuff. And Chopper's like, oh my god, that's terrifying, ghosts. And then Luffy's like, oh my god, I get to meet ghosts. Like, you know. And
then Nami heard that there might be like ghost treasure on those ships. Like, you gotta go to those ghost ships.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the current log post is pointing at Fishman Island, which I did not remember that it was doing that. And it was so funny because Animac were like, yeah, next arc is Thriller Bark, because that's what the arc's called, and we're saying what chapters he needs to read and all that. He's like, Thriller Bark? I thought they were going to Fishman Island.
Yeah, right. It's let's say the One Piece story isn't as linear as some would think. It's not just following the map. There are slight detours that they may take along the way. But then we get their bounties, which, I mean, I don't know how you feel at this point, Animac, but at this point in the story, the One Piece, the community at least, is so invested in bounties because it's our only real metric to measure clout, potentially power, threat level. So whenever there's a new bounty released, even if it's like for some no-name character, gives us a spotlight and another way to look at what's really going on. So I think that just seeing bounties is so epic. I love seeing bounties. I don't know what you felt when you saw the bounties.
Yeah, so you're definitely right. It's about clout and notoriety in that world rather than like power level or anything like that. But yeah, I thought it was really cool and it makes sense. So Luffy went all the way up to 300. Like that's Doflamingo levels, right? But it makes sense after they basically caused the destruction of Enies Lobby. So, what they did is incredibly insane when you think about, how the world government
declared war on the world.
It's it's not just clout, it's threat level as well. It's not necessarily how strong you are, but if you're willing to attack a major Navy headquarters or judicial quarters or whatever the hell it's called.
And escape the Buster Call.
Like that's what gives you that clout, I guess, right?
Yeah, no, it is definitely, it makes sense for their bounties to go up so high after such an incredible feat. And yeah, so Luffy's went up the most because he's the captain, but now every single member of the crew has a bounty.
Not every single member of the crew.
Including our boy Chopper.
Not Usopp, though.
Yeah.
Oh, true. Soga King does.
Soga King has a bounty.
But not Usopp.
and barely Blackleg Sanji.
Like
they all have to draw him.
I love that image of Sanji.
Sucks.
Did you see it, anime?
Yeah, so what happened was they couldn't take a picture of Sanji because it just turned out black. And I'm not sure if that really was because he forgot to open the thing or if there's something else about Sanji that we don't know yet. I didn't know if that was significant or not. But yeah, so basically his face is a drawing that just looks hilarious, and Sanji was pissed about it.
And they gave Chopper a bounty of 50 berry.
Because they think he's like their dog or something.
Right. Yeah. They put in parentheses, Chopper, the pet.
Yeah.
50 berry bounty.
Well, the cool thing about it is Chopper was super happy. He's like, I have a bounty, guys.
Yeah. And I think it's also cool that finally the monster trio has the highest bounty. Like until now, Robin had a higher bounty than Sanji and Zoro.
Mm-hmm.
But now Zoro and
Sanji.
No, Doesn't Sanji is a nope. Sanji, I think, has.
Pretty sure he's 77 and she's 80.
Oh no, you're right.
Yep, get wrecked.
You just got tech-inged by Animac.
I got tech-inged.
Robin still poses more of a threat than Sanji to the world government, which is kind of interesting.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
it really does.
Yeah, well, now that we know the whole Ohara situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. And okay, really let's talk about the scene.
And Frankie also got a bounty.
Yeah, Frankie has a bounty too, and let's talk about that because Frankie decides to build the ship for the Straw Hats, and then he's like, I got to get out of there because I don't want them to ask me to join the crew because I won't be able to say no because I've always dreamed of, traveling on this great ship that I built, but I'm obligated to my family here, the guys at Water 7, to protect them. And he also protects them out of guilt for what happened to Tom and how he couldn't stop it. So he's, instead of, going on his own adventure, he's been trying to protect everyone there at Water 7. And this leads to an absolutely hilarious situation. So now his whole family are like, you should go. It is your dream. Also, now you have a bounty. So the Marines are going to be after you. You're not going to be safe here. Just go with them on the adventure. You want to. And he's like, no, I'm not leaving you. So what they do is they take his Speedo.
Bro, they're pants. How could you call it a Speedo? They're pants.
They take his Speedo.
It's clearly pants. According to the lore of the world, it's pants.
The Viz translation says trunks.
They call it trousers or trunks. Yeah. So they take it, and apparently it's his only pair. They take it and they start running away so that they would give the trunks to the Straw Hat Pirates so that Frankie would be forced to talk to them about getting back the trunks. And it's an absolutely hilarious scene. That was
I just love awesome. Luffy like triumphantly saying, if you want these back, then be our Nakama. And then Frankie, like at the absolute legend, he poses and there's like the light shining from behind him, centering his genitalia.
I wouldn't say behind, from under.
From under, yes.
Yes.
Stand like a lion, brave against the waves, even if behind the mast you have nothing. And then Luffy's just like, oh my god, he's the man of men. He's just like flipping.
Yes, he was great.
Super.
So the whole thing is so funny while he's running through the town completely naked from the waist down. Everyone's like, what the hell's going on? Like, women are hiding their children. Look at this pervert lunatic. What is he doing? The city's already ruined, and now he's just walking around naked. And then it gets to the point where they're like, bro, you're naked. Just say you want to be part of the crew so that you can get the underwear back. And he's like, who cares? Man is always naked. Like, he does this communist pose, and I was like, yes, bro. Yes.
I love the moment when he first like Luffy first gets his trunks, and he's on top of the buildings and Frankie's below, and like Frankie's chasing for the trunks, but the entire time they're having like this casual, like super fun conversation about the ship. It's got an aquarium with fish.
Yeah,
and
right.
Have you seen this part yet? And this, and he's like, oh, it's so great. It was just so wholesome, and I loved it.
It's like, this ship is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Good. I'm happy you liked it.
Meanwhile,
Thank you.
Frankie's
You're
fucking
welcome,
naked.
bro. Yeah, and he's naked chasing him for his underwear.
Yeah. So the ship is a whole other thing we need to talk about, but
Yeah.
we also have to talk about the fact that Frankie got his balls gripped
Tortured.
by
Yeah,
Robin.
by Robin. I was about to go. Thank you for bringing up the most important part.
Bro, I tweeted about this, but there was that scene in the episode before this one, or the one out before that, where it looks like he's humping Robin, and now we have this thing where Robin's literally grabbing his family jewels. I don't know, man. I feel like they got to get together.
I mean,
And I love how
this is why Robin
did
is
that,
the biggest threat, more than Sanji, because of that one scene. They realized that her potential to grab any man by the junk at any moment and rip him off, like that's some power right there.
Yeah, I never even thought of that, Noble. You're 100% right.
That's-
That shit ain't no joke.
See,
That
people don't. No one understands power scaling in One Piece. It's like balls are far inferior to Robin's devil fruit.
it's true.
And the thing is, when Robin does that, the entire like Frankie family, they're like, "Oh no, Frankie!" and they're like holding each other back, like, "Should we defend him or no? This is good for him. This is good for him."
He's gonna come off. His grades are gonna pop off.
They're gonna come off, and Chopper's like, he's crushing them, and like you have like all the villagers like holding their nuts, like, oh.
So yeah, after that absolutely hilarious scene, and like I love the one panel where it shows like the Straw Hat Pirate flag flying alongside the Speedo.
His Speedo.
Oh, that was great. And yeah, so in the end,
The symbolism.
yeah, the symbolism, bro, the deep symbolism.
But there was
of
another
the
thing that I
Robin
think
Ball
we missed.
scene.
Maybe we didn't miss it. I think we did though. By the party, there was Robin talking to Aokiji.
Oh yeah, that was really interesting too. So Aokiji is such a mysterious character to me because he was like, he said that Saul, the giant, was a close friend of his. So he didn't want Saul's sacrifice to be for nothing. So that's why he helped Robin. And he was hoping that Robin would make something of her life so that, you know, the sacrifice has meaning. And he's actually glad that she finally found some friends that she can confide in and trust and all this type of stuff. But then he's like, yeah, but I was also going to kill you at Enies lobby. But, you know, you survived, so that's cool. He's a very interesting guy.
Yeah, and also, like, the way he actually initiates the conversation, he kind of made it feel like he was watching her for a while now. And he said, wow, this is the first time you're not running away. You could have gotten away from the CP9, no problem, but you chose to sacrifice yourself for the Straw Hats.
Yeah.
Like, it's the first time you've done that. It's like, it's implied that he was somehow watching what she was doing for a really long time. Just not stepping in, just out of respect for Saul. And, he says, like, right before he leaves, he's like, well, O'Hara lives on with you. And she, like, turns the corner and he, like, fizzles away, you know?
Yeah, that goes, you know, to what I was saying that time when we first learned about O'Hara and what Aokiji did. I think he is more actively helping Robin than we realize. He just said that, oh, I just let her flee. But I think he's actually been looking out for her in his own weird way.
Yeah, Aokiji's definitely an interesting character. He's one of the most fascinating characters in the story, for sure.
He definitely is so far, because you can tell that he's not a bad guy, but, you know, is he necessarily a good guy? We don't know, but he's
we don't really know. What is a bad guy in One Piece? Is the world government bad? I mean, they're trying to keep order so that there aren't pirates pillaging every village, you know?
Yeah, they are preventing that happening. So it's like, it's just a morally gray atmosphere everywhere where there is obviously bad pirates out there, but then you have also Luffy, who is like the best pirate good guy that you could ever see. So like there is no black and white here, and that's what I love about One Piece. Just the world building. Yeah,
like everyone's a different shade of gray. I mean, I'd say Blackbeard, probably a bad dude, but aside from him, there are obviously a lot of villains in the story. But just saying good guy, bad guy, like debating if Aokiji is a good guy, what does that even mean? So I thought that was amazing. There was also a scene though of Sanji seeing Usopp practicing returning to the crew.
Yeah, so the whole thing about Usopp, is he going to come back to the crew? Like, we know there was a big thing about whether Frankie will join the crew, but it was also about Usopp coming back because Usopp formally left the crew. So Sanji sees him practicing to himself how to get back to the crew. So he's like, should I be like, oh, screw you guys, I'm going to that Elbaf island? Or should he be like, hey guys, don't worry, I know you want me to join, I'll just join. I'll be the first mate. It's all good. And it's very interesting because
no, he didn't. Oh, you said first mate in your translation. He's like, you know what, guys, I'll join and I won't argue with anymore. I'll settle for being vice captain.
Oh yeah, it said first mate, I believe, in his translation. But it was funny because
he didn't just leave. He disrespected Luffy and even went as far as to challenge him to a duel.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yes,
yeah, it wasn't
just should be gone. Sogeking should really be the one to join the crew. Like, why do we need Usopp anymore when we have Sogeking?
We have Sogeking in our hearts at all times, though.
Yeah,
that's what's amazing about Sogeking. He never really leaves.
Yeah, he's always there.
So what Briggs mentioned, that's exactly kind of what Zoro talks about. So back at the ship,
here we go. This is my favorite Zoro moment in the series.
Back so far. when all of them, so not where Usopp is now, but where the crew is, they're all talking together. And Zoro is saying, listen, you cannot, to Luffy, he says, you cannot let him just come and join again unless he specifically apologizes for what he did, because he disrespected the crew by saying he's going to leave. He challenged you to a duel and lost. We know, we like Usopp, he's a good guy, but you're the captain, Luffy. You have the responsibility to not have this crew become a joke. He has to apologize for what he did if he wants to come back. And if you don't make him apologize, if you're just go easy on him, I'm going to leave.
So I think it was more than that.
Hold on. I think that Zoro there was 100% right, because this is exactly my frustration when we were discussing the whole Usopp versus Luffy fight. I was saying that I think Luffy is right. I think Usopp is being ridiculous. He's being emotional. He's saying we can't let the ship be. He's a crew member. We can't abandon him, and then he abandons the crew. Completely hypocritical. So I really appreciate Zoro and what he said during this speech, and I agreed with him 100%.
So when it starts off and Sanji says that Usopp wants to rejoin the crew, everyone's excited. Like, everyone in the room, they just start partying. Luffy's like, great, let's go fetch him. And Nami and Chopper are like, yeah! And Zoro's always the guy that's like, he's training him alone. Or he's napping while everyone's like, playing around. Like, he's not really the chitter-chatter guy that mixes into business. Like, that's not his character at all. And he says, I'm sorry, no matter what, you cannot take this approach. I will not approve of him until he apologizes. And Chopper and Nami get upset at him, and they're like, dude, what are you saying? He's Usopp, man. We love Usopp. And while they're yelling at him, Zoro he doesn't even look at them. He walks up to Luffy, and he just says, shut up. He grabs Luffy's face, and he's like, it's none of my business that you normally joke around. But if you humiliate yourself to this degree, I will leave the crew. And then, people are like, at first, they don't fully agree with Zoro. They're like, what are you saying? And Zoro walks in front of the door. He pulls out his swords, and he's like, leaving the crew is not such a simple thing. I'm not going to let anyone disrespect it, to this degree. And Luffy shows that he admits that he was wrong. And he fully agrees with Zoro's take here. And I think that this is one of the greatest character moments for Zoro so far in the story, for sure.
Yeah, because it's definitely uncharacteristic of him. Because usually, him and Sanji are just goofing around and almost not taking things seriously because they're so strong and they don't have to in many situations. But in this situation, he really put his foot down and said, "Okay, yeah, so we all talk a lot of shit and we all joke around a lot, but this is serious business. Being part of this crew
It's a matter of respect.
Yeah, and
it's
being
serious
captain is a serious responsibility, Luffy. So you have to do the right thing here. You can't just, oh, Usopp's my friend and I like him, so I'll let him disrespect the crew and the captain and everything else, because that's how crews die.
And I wouldn't say that it's even disrespectful of Zoro. Like you said, it's you said it's uncharacteristic. I wouldn't say it's uncharacteristic. It's very part of the character that was laid out for us. He's someone that, when it comes to the trivial details, he doesn't sweat any of them. Like, he'll argue with Sanji about who can catch bigger dinosaurs for supper. Like, he doesn't care about any of that stuff, and he doesn't mind goofing around when it's not important. But when it comes to the respect of the captain, and when it comes to something like that, that's something that he will never budge on. Yeah. Like, when he loses to Mihawk, he says to Luffy, it's not that I'm sad that I lost for me. I will never let you down and lose again for you. Like, I will be your sword and I will never break again. Yeah. Like,
and he did take oh wait, never mind. Sorry.
No, say
that's a spoiler. Nope.
And remember when Robin,
that was close. That was close.
Yeah.
Oh, I was about to say,
don't say it. Whenever when Robin joined the crew, Zoro was like the first one to was one of the few ones to not instantly accept her, because to him joining the crew is a big deal, and leaving the crew is even bigger deal. It shouldn't be that easy to leave the crew once you join. You're making the decision to join him on a lifelong journey at this point.
Yeah. And I think that, part of the disagreement, the fundamental disagreement between Zoro and Sanji, is they're both extremely honorable people, but they both view honor in a completely different way. Like, Sanji views honor as, being courteous. He'll never kick a woman or whatever. That's his level of chivalry. Zoro's level of chivalry, he doesn't care about any of that. But when it comes to the things that matter, like the integrity of the crew, the value of their family, when it comes to something like that, that's when Zoro he puts his foot down and he's like, nah, fam, that's where it is.
And Sanji actually completely agreed here, which is surprising because Nami was against it. So normally Sanji would just take Nami's side because she's a female. But Sanji,
and normally Sanji would just argue with Zoro for the sake of arguing with Zoro. But once Zoro said it, Sanji was
noticed that even Sanji said that Zoro was totally right in this one. So that is true.
Character development. That's what that is.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, and I mean, I was upset with Usopp, as you guys recall, and his reaction. I thought it was way too emotional and that he was disrespecting the crew over the ship, and I got some criticism for that. People saying, bro, you got to understand where he's coming from and all this stuff, and I do understand where he's coming from, but I was very much agreeing. Like, my mindset was the kind of mindset that Zoro had in these chapters. He thought that Usopp had disrespected the crew and that he shouldn't have done what he done, and that he couldn't just join, just like that.
And this right here is why Zoro is my favorite character in One Piece. What could I say?
Well, speaking of the best characters in One Piece, we have to have a Nami appreciation moment. The bathing suit scene, guys.
No, of course.
Not only was Nami looking beautiful, but at the same time, she was gathering intel that people didn't realize. She was just using the snails to spy on the conversations that were going on, so she would gather intel. A true mad lass.
And we cannot forget her character growth. Her boobs, I think, went up at least one size in that chapter. So,
there we go.
They keep growing. You'll notice how her character grows throughout the series, and it's just, honestly, it's beautiful.
No, I mean, her character develops in more ways than one, and that's the best part.
And to it.
Yeah.
I have a theory that Sanji is manipulating behind the scenes, feeding her fatty foods so she gets thicker.
Yeah, he knows exactly what to give her so she gets thick in all the right places.
Exactly.
Maybe the more powerful she gets, the bigger her boobs get too. If you think about it,
bro,
it could be like her power level scale.
Bro, you just opened my mind for our light novel.
Oh, well, there you go. There's a new character for you.
And anywho, they ended up waiting at the Galila for a while for Usopp, who never showed up because Usopp, understandably so, is embarrassed, being that he, kind of made a big oof, and he knows he messed up. Like, he does. He knows that he wasn't in the right headspace when that all happened. He just didn't know how to approach it. He was kind of hoping to just, laugh it off kind of thing and rejoin. But they wait at the Galila. He doesn't come, and they leave. And they go on the Thousand Sunny. and they're leaving, and then Garp's ship shows up, and they're like, "Wait, Grandpa, I thought you said you weren't gonna hurt us. Change of plan, kiddo." And he doesn't load a cannon with the cannonball. No, he just throws it at him.
And it's stronger when he throws it than actual cannons firing, apparently. But yeah, so Frankie decides to join the crew. I don't know if we actually mentioned that. Frankie finally does.
My house is on fire.
Oh God.
Oh no.
This happens like once a week. It's all good.
Fire alarm at Brigo's house. Brigo, make sure everything's okay.
That's a big yikes.
No, it means that he's having grilled food for supper.
Oh, is that really?
My mom was making pizza. She just opened the oven. Guaranteed fire alarm.
There we go.
Okay, so you're alive. That's good.
Okay. Right.
So yeah, Frankie joins the crew, and they have this awesome new ship now. They talk about names. Luffy has some great suggestions, but in the end, they go with the 1,000 Sunny, which symbolizes that the ship will sail 1,000 seas, and that it's gonna be sunny and shit. I don't know.
I must say, as much as I feel emotionally attached to the Mary, the 1,000 Sunny is I love it. I love the ship so much.
Oh, it's amazing! It has so much personality.
And you'll see it more as we go
along.
along.
It's
great
mostly
design
thanks
exterior.
to Frankie too.
Really.
We don't know
nice
the interior yet. We haven't really seen it, but the exterior is amazing. And I mean, it makes sense. The Going Merry was a normal ship, but the 1,000 Sunny is created by one of the greatest shipwrights in the world.
Yeah. And while this whole fight is going on with Garp throwing cannonballs and Luffy and Zoro blocking them, you have Usopp running up and's like, "Hey guys, I'm still here. It's all good. I'm gonna join you. I'm gonna come along." And Luffy's not answering him. And Chopper's like, "Luffy, Usopp's calling you." And Luffy's like, "I didn't hear anything." And then he turns to Zoro and he's like, "Zoro, Usopp, we're leaving him behind." And Zoro's like, "Sorry, I didn't hear anything." And they're like, "You liar, you heard him. Like, what's happening?" And then Usopp breaks down and he just starts crying and he's like, he apologizes profusely. And Luffy literally outstretches an arm for him. And then he starts crying. It's like, "You moron, grab my hand."
Yeah, they're both crying. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that moment. It's great.
Yeah. And that was great because, like you said earlier, Nux, Usopp was in the mind state where he was like, "Oh, I'm embarrassed, so I'm just gonna play it off like a joke." It's like, "Oh yeah, I didn't really want to, leave, guys. I know you need me. I'll be the first mate or the vice captain or whatever." But then when he sees them actually leaving, he considers the prospect of perhaps not being in the crew anymore, and that's when he realized what the full gravity of the situation comes down on him, and he realizes that he should be apologizing because what he did have serious consequences, and he couldn't picture himself actually, being left by the crew. So that was a really powerful moment, and yet funny because we have the whole Garp stuff, as you mentioned.
Yeah, One Piece is like the perfect balance of serious moments, like with comedic. So like even like the emotional scenes, like you love this, but there's like freaking Garp hurling cannonballs at him this entire time, and it's just a ridiculous situation that I feel like you really can't get from any other shonen series out there. Like you're not gonna get this from like My Hero. It's just gonna be just all freaking serious all the time kind of stuff out there, or Naruto also super serious, and I love those series.
And I'm with you, and it's not only like One Piece doesn't just toggle from serious to not serious. Like when it comes to My Hero or whatever, most of these like fight scenes, they're serious. Like the main character's thinking things through. He's like trying to, figure something out. But here, it's not just a mix of the seriousness and the comedy. The emotions that are present in One Piece are non-existent elsewhere in the same kind of setting. Like this goes from hurling cannonballs to how the ship is going to survive to just Usopp and Luffy crying as they reunite. And it's a blend of all three of these things. And even though this is only 11 chapters, goddammit. Okay.
Yeah, that was a crazy 11 chapters, honestly.
And then I think it ends off. Well, we still have really two things to talk about in these 11 chapters. There's the news of the wanted posters spreading throughout the world. Like you got Vivi was like, "Hell yeah!"
Yeah, we got everyone pretty much like flashbacks to all the significant places.
See, I wouldn't consider them flashbacks.
Well, yeah, not a flashback. Yeah. You're right. Not a flashback, but just kind of like a
changing points of views.
A flash too. The other significant characters. So we had Vivi. We had all the places where the different Straw Hat members originated, like their home islands and places like that. I thought that was really cool.
I just love Zeph, the man with the greatest mustache in all of fiction. He just he shows the wanted poster of Sanji to the rest of the Baratier, and they're all laughing at how goofy of an image it is.
Yeah, but they're still proud. They're proud
and
of the
they're so
fact.
proud of him.
Yeah. So I think they even put it up and said Baratier, the home of a wanted.
Blackfoot Sanji.
Yeah, Blackfoot Sanji. That's what they called him.
Yeah. And one more person that we flashed to, Dragon. He's like, oh, you're questioning the world. I guess we'll meet again soon. And then it says, the worst criminal in the world, the revolutionist, Monkey D. Dragon.
Yes. So we had a quick glance to him in person where he also reads the new wanted posters and sees how notorious Luffy is becoming. And he says that he kind of foreshadows that they might be meeting sometime in the near future, which is also very cool. People want us to mention the fact that Vega Punk was introduced. So that's this true. Dr. Vega Punk, who I guess experiments with devil fruit, and he was the one who was able to learn how to feed devil fruit to inanimate objects.
Yeah, he's an interesting character.
Yeah, he's there. Yeah,
he's there.
Did we get to see the end of the Ace versus Blackbeard fight?
I don't.
No, it was cut off.
I don't believe so. It was cut off. It started off with like Ace attacking Blackbeard, and he actually roasts Blackbeard. Like, I don't mean like verbally. I mean like literally.
He actually.
Yeah, and the thing about Blackbeard is, so far, every single time we see him get into a fight, he gets beaten up first. Like, it's not like he overpowers his opponents. Even against Luffy, it's not like he overpowered him. You know, like when they met outside of Sky Island.
I don't think they fought.
They didn't fight.
They didn't really fight, but it's like we never got the impression from. I'm not. We never got the impression from Blackbeard that he's so stupidly overpowered. Like that's not the vibe he's given off so far. And even the way this fight starts with Luffy, with Briggs' mom pulling an ace and lighting the house on fire. Still, Ace was kind of manhandling him in the beginning until.
Yeah, Blackbeard reveals the nature of his devil fruit, and this is a very specific devil fruit that he wanted to get, and he was willing to kill his own friend to get it because the friend got it first. It's the Darkness Logia fruit, where basically
Nope. Is it a Logia? Hold on. I don't think it's a Logia. Is it a Logia? I thought it was a Paramecia.
I think it's a Logia. Because I think he was comparing it to other Logia users. Because he was saying, you other Logia users can change your body into that element, but because mine sucks everything in, I actually feel pain.
Okay, so then maybe you're right.
Okay, yeah, so that's what I got from it.
Yeah, you're right. It's a Logia.
And then it's basically this fruit has like black hole powers that suck everything in, including light. And it can even suck in a devil fruit user and rob them of the power to use their devil fruit while they're in contact with the darkness. However, it has a drawback, which is that unlike other Logia users, he can't just avoid pain by turning himself into the darkness. It actually amplifies the pain because it's sucking everything in, including, I guess, blows. So I thought that was actually a very complex and interesting Logia fruit as opposed to other ones we've seen.
People in chat are saying something was said, and I don't want to draw attention to it because it means absolutely nothing to Animec right now.
Yeah, I do want to say that we did find out that Blackbeard, when he killed Thatch, which was a member of the Whitebeard Pirates, we found out that the reason he did it was for this Darkness Devil Fruit, one that he's been waiting for patiently in the shadows for like decades, pretty much. And he, despite him being strong, kind of never showed off his strength because he didn't want to rise up in Whitebeard's crew. He was waiting for the right time.
Yeah, I think Blackbeard's such a fascinating kind of like villain in the show because you don't really understand his complete motivations to what he's doing, and he starts off as kind of like a good guy, which is like, oh, like, yeah, he was kind of like helping Luffy, like, yeah, I believe in you, you should definitely check that out.
Correct.
And then he kind of motivates Luffy, and it's like, yeah, let's go do that. And then he turns out to be a complete asshole too on top of it, you know, like,
and also his first meeting with Luffy is really interesting.
He says later that he wants to kill Luffy in this arc. he says he wants to kill Luffy, but then it's never like a malicious want to kill him. It's just like, yeah, Luffy's a good dude. But now he's done a lot of cool stuff, so I'm gonna go and kill him and increase my own notoriety, kind of thing.
Well, yeah. I can't say that. Never mind.
And what else was I gonna say about Blackbeard? Yeah, he is a fascinating guy. He's got like a crew around him who are very loyal to him and a really interesting power and unknown motivations. But I think he did say that he wants to be the Pirate King, right?
Yeah, I think.
So I guess that is a motivation in itself, but the specifics are not there yet.
Oh, cover stories. We gotta talk about the cover stories.
Yeah, first let's talk about the fact that
though, you're gonna ignore the fight? Like you didn't mention the fight. You just said that he has a cool power.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was fighting Ace, and he has a cool power.
and what do you think happened?
So what I got from it is that Ace was holding his own during the fight, but because of the specific nature of Blackbeard's fruit, it was almost like a stalemate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well.
Okay.
Also, like the way the fight was going, every time Ace would shoot fire at him, it would hit him automatically because he can't dodge anything. He just pulls in all attacks.
Yeah. So he was actually feeling the pain. Yeah.
How he used his gravitation thingy to suck Ace towards him, and while he was touching Ace, he was able to suck in the power of the devil, and Ace could not use his devil fruit power.
Yes.
While he was in contact with Blackbeard.
Correct. That's correct.
That's whack. We've never
Well,
seen
and then he
like
he was able to like punch him really hard. I don't know if that's related to his sucking in power. If he can
he punched him really hard because Ace is normally he's fire. He can't get punched. So he sucked when he was touching Ace, and Ace couldn't use his devil fruit. He said, it's been a while since he got punched, my boy.
Yes, and one of the crew members of Blackbeard said, "Oh, Ace, even though he's a devil fruit user, and most devil fruit users just rely on the power, Ace is still able to hold his own even when he briefly can't use the devil fruit." So that was kind of like praise for Ace and his ability to fight.
Yeah, and then you see from the distance this massive explosion on the island, like half fire, half darkness. And
yes, yeah. So that's where it ended. Yeah, now I remember.
No, there was one more panel. The final panel is you have Ace's hat on the floor, and it says, "The duel at Banaro Island. The battle between those two pirates was later described as the trigger of a very big incident coming in the future."
Yeah, so that is interesting. That is why this whole thing felt like we're going to have a time skip next, because we got that whole foreshadowing that this fight started some great sequence of events. But in terms of the hat thing, I'm pretty sure Ace lost his hat earlier on in that fight, not in that last panel, because I did notice that, and then I'm pretty sure
it ends with the hat on the ground. Whatever.
He loses it earlier in the fight, and then it ends with showing the hat.
But one thing I gotta say about this little fight, it gave us more character for Blackbeard, because Blackbeard still at this point is a complete enigma, right? Like we don't, aside from the fact that he went through all these crazy meticulous plans just to get this fruit. We have no idea, like, who this guy really is, what he wants, like, what his ideology is. We understand very little about him. And Ace really freaking lived up to the hype here. Like, until now, we only saw Ace briefly, he chatted with Luffy for a minute. We saw him for, like, a second on Drum Island kind of thing. But Ace,
he was in some fillers in the anime, too.
He was in some fillers in the anime, look, just, like, sitting on a house, looking into the distance. Like, that's the kind of vibes we got from Ace. But now we really saw, balls to the wall action here.
Yeah, I mean, I already got the hint that Ace was freaking epic. So I totally expected this. But yeah, it was pretty awesome. He had some awesome attacks like St. Elmo's Fire, Flame Emperor. Really cool stuff.
Yeah, he's cool stuff.
Yeah, he had the scene where he, like, prior, I guess one scene where we did get to see him in action. He fought Smoker, and they weren't able to do anything. And then he took out, like, 5 ships with one attack or something, which was really cool.
Yep.
But other than that, that was like all we had really got in prior.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't really get much about Ace. He was just kind of like a goofball that was Luffy's brother.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see them in action and see what they can do.
And they were both bleeding. Like this is because this is one of those world-shaping fights kind of thing. Like very often,
I'm not sure why yet.
You have little squabbles between pirates, but here you have this dude who betrayed an emperor, running away, and he's fighting one of the emperor's commanders. Like you don't know. This could be like a generation-defining fight right here. It could cause
I see what you did there.
I didn't see what I did there, but it could cause a pretty crazy ripple effect. Something like this.
Well, I can't tell you.
Well, apparently it did, but I'm not exactly sure why yet.
I know.
But yeah, from what I got about Ace right now, he is
like and this Ace fight, it was hyped up just 2 chapters prior. You got Shanks being like, "Bro, this is bad."
Yeah. So Ace for me so far. Nux, hold on. Ace for me so far. He was also randomly introduced as Luffy's brother without any indication prior. Same thing as Garp. Basically just like, yo, I'm Luffy's brother. And so far he's been very badass and powerful. But that's all we really know about him. And he stands Whitebeard. So yeah, we'll see what happened with this fight in the aftermath. But I am very curious to see what happens next. And like I told you, I thought maybe we'd get a time skip just because so much happened in such a short period of time. We checked in with all these other different characters that we knew from the past. We got the hint that this fight between Blackbeard and Ace is going to be the start of something different and big. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens next. Another thing that I saw that I have to bring up is when they went back to Luffy's village, like to look at the people at Luffy's village, looking at Luffy's new bounty and stuff. The one guy, I don't know, it was the mayor. I think it was the mayor who said, "Oh yeah, so Luffy and Ace did this, and then we have Dragon doing that." And what would Dadan say about this? So I was wondering, is Dadan another member of the Luffy's family?
You'll find out.
Perhaps Luffy's mother.
You'll find out. You'll find out.
Well, at this point, I'd say for sure it's a member of Luffy's family and perhaps Luffy's mother. But again, if it is Luffy's mother, where is she? Is she dead?
There is one important thing I have to say though about Ace, and it's something that I think that every man of culture should relate to Ace in one way. We stand Whitebeard, yeah, baby.
That's true.
Oh, I love that man so much.
Yeah,
he definitely stands Whitebeard. He's like, you can't disrespect my boy Whitebeard. He will be the king of the pirates, etc.
I stand Whitebeard.
Yeah, Whitebeard, I feel is like one of the characters. Well, I can't say. I don't want to go too into it, but he was definitely one of the characters that I feel really made me invest into One Piece more.
Well, he is great. He is great, but then I don't know if I would pick him over Shanks at this point. You know, if they are rivals, you know, why would I pick him over Shanks? I don't know, but he is definitely badass, like top notch, badass old dude.
Shanks may have very different aspirations for the future. You know, the truth is you don't really know. You don't really know most of these characters, but I have so much respect for Whitebeard though. Like, out of anime characters that I respect, you know, Whitebeard's up there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's everything I think from the main story that we wanted to talk about, and there was a lot, and it was freaking awesome, absolutely.
And cover stories.
And now we have also the cover stories to talk about. So basically, the main thing that I saw was Enel going to the moon. Last time we left off with Enel, he saw a hole in the moon. Then now we see that he actually found some kind of settlement that had a bunch of like chopper-looking soldiers there, and most of them were dead, but then one guy was alive, and they were like chilling, him and Enel, and then that one guy got killed by some space pirate guy, and this space pirate guy looked like a mixture of an alien and like an artificial being, because he had some kind of like pressure clocks on his body, so that was weird. And then it left off with Enel being like, screw this dude, I'm about to kick his ass, and that's what we've seen so far. Yeah, baby.
I mean, bruh. I have to, there's so many things that I want to say, but I don't want to spoil.
I'm curious. That's what I've been holding back.
I am curious why NL wanted to go to the moon in particular, and who are these creatures on the moon? I'm guessing there's oxygen there in the world of One Piece, but it's like, who is this space pirate, weird last looking dude? Like he looks very strange. He doesn't look like a human. So yeah, I thought that was also quite interesting.
I mean, I think that there's also another thing that, we didn't really mention. When it came to Shanks's meeting with our boy Whitebeard,
yeah,
they actually clashed a little bit.
Ooh, that's right.
Yeah, they started almost like fighting, and then people were like, Yo.
almost fighting. They parted the heavens, my dude.
Dude, that fight? What do you mean they almost fought?
No, but it was like they started like fighting, and then there was like, there was something that cut through the heavens, but then they just left off from there. It didn't continue.
I just went so I could actually read the words to you. The Whitebeard says, "Do you understand, fool? You're 100 years too early to order me around." And he drops his sake thing the same time Shanks does. Shanks draws his sword and he says, "No one will be able to stop this era of recklessness." And Whitebeard says, "I have nothing to fear. I am Whitebeard." And they strike each other and it splits the sky open. Dude!
Yeah, and what is Shanks so worried about? I wonder. This new era.
And the second they see that, like, it goes to Shanks's crew, and Shanks's crew is like, "Ah, damn. Did a war start?" Like, god damn!
Yeah, like, I'm wondering now, what is Shanks so worried about? He set up Luffy to become, a next generation pirate, but yet he's saying, oh, this new generation is dangerous. So what exactly does that mean?
I think...
what is Shanks after?
So we do know that Shanks encountered Blackbeard, so maybe Shanks knows something of Blackbeard's plan that we do not.
I'm guessing, but yeah, so... I mean, Luffy is also a new generation pirate, and he's a good influence, you would think. So we'll see. Yeah.
Like, why would Blackbeard be after Luffy in general as well? Like, he ends up fighting Ace because Ace finds Blackbeard, but why would Blackbeard be after Luffy? Like, why was he trying to attack another pirate or track him down? Right?
Yeah, from what I got from it, Blackbeard just likes to take out, notorious people, but there might be more to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. I think we covered everything.
Yeah, I don't think there's much more.
People are saying Shanks versus Mihawk, but I'm not sure what they're talking about.
Whitebeard mentioned that the Shanks versus Mihawk fight was legendary. And then he asks him about his arm and why he doesn't have it anymore. And he says he'd bet it on the next generation or something like that.
Yeah, but we know that he lost his fight in the Luffy thing, not to
right,
yeah,
that
exactly.
wasn't in the Mihawk. But it's pretty amazing that they clashed. I mean, we saw Mihawk was pretty epic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It just shows how powerful
though,
Mihawk is, too.
I'm really glad that I didn't try to stuff these 10 chapters into the previous 2 episodes. Like, this needed its own.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there was also the New World. People in chat are talking about the New World. So that is like the second
Beyond
half.
the red line.
That is the second half of the Grand Line, right? Like, it's a less explored area that the Emperors control.
Yeah. Yeah, like, and these 10 chapters, they really set up a hell of a lot, and they give us a lot more interesting perspectives as to how this world is actually operating. Like, just how does One Piece do this? How is it so good? Animac, what's wrong with you?
What do you mean?
Why are you not standing this show? Now that we finished the Water 7 saga, dude, this saga, compared to literally any other saga from any other show you've ever seen, there's no comparison.
I mean, I do stand it. I think that, like I said, these 11 chapters really made me feel that, yeah, One Piece is as special as everyone keeps talking about, because the world building, the background stories, the Frankie joining, all in these 11 chapters, the Blackbeard stuff. I mean, amazing. Best 11 chapters, I think, in the whole series so far. And it really, like, the world building and the politics and the whole revolutionary stuff and Luffy's dad. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that keeps me interested in shows. So I'm absolutely down for it. I think that this gives us a hint as to why so many people think that One Piece is the greatest manga.
You didn't really answer my question, though. My question was, tell me an arc that compares.
A saga that compares.
an arc or a saga. Tell me something. Tell me something that compares to Water 7.
I mean, I don't want to do that because why?
Yeah, I mean, every manga is different,
What do you mean,
man.
because
Come on,
why?
man.
I don't understand. What do you mean, because why? We said at the end of the last one that we'd rank this compared to other shonen.
I mean, there are other great... okay, well, you're saying shonen. Well, there's a lot of other great arcs in, like, Berserk, like the Golden Age. There's Attack on Titan. There's other non-shonen anime that I really like, and the arcs that are part of it. So I don't know. Like, I wouldn't want to compare. I'm still taking everything in, and I love it, but I don't want to be like, well, this is better than this or better than that.
All right.
You know?
If you don't have the balls to actually, state your opinion, I don't mind.
I think Frankie would say it with a Dawn.
Frankie would say it with a Dawn. This man has nothing to hide.
I think the only arc I like
it's all good.
close to these arcs would be the Chimera Ant arc from...
Right, I was about to say. Chimera, but I'm mentioning this because I know Animec didn't finish it yet. So I think the only shonen arcs that compare for me are probably the Chimera Ant arc, the Shogun assassination arc from Gintama, and JoJo's Part 2 maybe.
I mean,
I
the
think,
Chimera arc makes sense because it showed like the whole. I shouldn't go into it. This is the One Piece version, not the Rant Cafe. So I'm not going to go into that.
I mean, I think that this whole comparing and trying to flex on other arcs is such a weak mindset, bro.
I think that just because you don't have the balls to ever state your top 10 anime, you like explaining how I don't like fan service in anime because I have such a weak mindset. But you can't even tell us what your favorite stories are.
Because I enjoy many different types of anime and different genres, and I don't want to be ranking them. Why? There's no need. You can just appreciate beauty for what it is. You don't need to.
Right,
Rant Cafe coming soon. Animac's top 20 favorite anime. Can't wait to see it.
It's never going to happen. He doesn't have the balls.
So, listen, Nux, you don't have to...
He's too much of a coward.
You can appreciate the Mona Lisa without comparing it to other paintings, bro.
Mona Lisa looks like ass. Okay, fine. I'm not going to die on that hill.
Okay.
But anyway, it's all right. It's okay. Everyone has things that they're scared of. It's all good.
Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. Noble, pleasure to have you on again.
Yeah, it was nice being here.
Yeah, and my overall take of this whole saga is that it has been absolutely incredible. Loved these 11 chapters. They just did so much to bring it all together and to open up the world. And yeah, I'm definitely a One Piece stan at this point.
Water 7 saga. It's a 10 out of 10.
Definitely the best thing
in
One Piece so far, for sure.
It's
yeah,
S-tier.
I agree.
And Nuxenbriggs!
Yeah,
and we also have the legendary, some people know him as Kirito, others know him as Lost Pause 1, Noble.
There's no Nuxenbriggs there. I can't really. It's gonna do
it doesn't compare.
Yeah,
doesn't really work. Yeah.
Right.
Also in the chat, we have Lisa. Lisa is better than Mona Lisa. I do agree on that.
That's big facts.
Yeah, no argument for me. Thank you guys for joining us. We're back again next week. Nux, you said it was
442 to 469.
69. Good stuff. Definitely don't forget to check out our Patreon if you want to support the boys. And don't forget to check out our web novel, which we reveal early releases on Patreon. And we got commissioned art related to the novel on Patreon now. So check us out, patreon.com/RantCafe. And until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.
Bang.